the #1 BO4 Year 6 Zim Apex keyboarder grinder handsome beast. Jacoby back here reacting to another video. In today's video we're going to be going over to Bearpig. Obviously I've done a bunch of other people already. We done Fearful Dead, we done Cam the Sweat, we have done PD Breezies. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at Bearpig's best game, which was his 44 kill solo kill Alcatraz win from the 27th of February. Again, much too long before my time, before I was born. The reason I make these videos is so that my viewers' improvement of game knowledge can be done, because a lot of the time whenever you watch my videos you might not particularly understand the thought processes or things you could do alternatively. I do guides for mechanics in the game, however mechanics can only get you so far if you don't have the brain. That's why we're going to be watching this. I guess we'll go straight into it. To be quite honest, there's not really much to say. If you want to watch any other reaction videos or analysis videos, I've done quite a few. I have a whole playlist of them. You can check any of those out. Anyway, if you like the sound of my voice, let's get on with it. Again, like we saw with all the other grinders we watch. Nice infirmary push. You do this for loot, it's quite dope. First thing you want to notice, never use this on a Sorg. Looks ugly. This is the only mass craft in the game that makes your gun basically worse. Your iron sights are now a circle with a big thing in the middle. You ain't ever gonna see anybody through that. It's a rest in peace. I would never recommend anyone use this. Everybody knows this on multiplayer, but I guess blackout players were a bit slow. Straight up push up here is fine. You probably heard the footsteps, so if you hear footsteps, push that shit straight away. If you have infirmary and you have a gun, it's better off than having people push you down and like be in your back and shit as you're trying to loot other stuff. A cool thing to do, I'd say, and whenever you do loot, that you can try and notice things that are not garbage. He does need meds, yes, and I would preferably loot those faster, but there's an armor here as well, which would be important. For some people, priority of loot is quite useful. He actually missed the armor, which is rest in peace. That ammo is very useful, you would need that. He's looking good. If you look at his controller, I don't believe he has back buttons, and I don't believe he uses claw either, because this is Xbox, so obviously Xbox you can't do claw. He has an interesting setup. I would personally never be able to play with that. I would use a Zim Apex with a PS4 controller plugged into that shit and start clawing. But, I mean, it is what it is.
But thank you for extending yourself for 3 months, Mr. Sandwich. I said it once.
I might make this louder. 1 second. Actually, this is... Oh, shit. That's probably why it's so quiet. There we go. Looking handsome. The way he loots all of this is actually a really weird pattern. I wouldn't particularly recommend it too much, because he goes backwards onto the shit he's already looted. Whenever you do loot early game, try and consider where you've ran through and avoid that area. Obviously that's not possible in every single opportunity, but it will increase your efficiency. Now some people don't think about this, but it usually comes naturally. Another thing, which he doesn't do, because I watched this gameplay already, whenever you have shit perks, in here, he has, guess what perks these amazing things are? Team Link and Iron Lungs. I guess he didn't watch my tier list video of the top 10 BO4 Blackout Alcatraz Year 6 grinder perks, because these are both ass. Team Link is okay because he's actually playing on trios, and I think these are his subs, so if you wanted to turn them into support teammates, he can. The Iron Lungs, that shit's gotta go though, on guard, because it takes up your space. It's not particularly a detriment at this position, it's what happens later. If you open a bag and you want to loot a bunch of shit in it, and then you have to mess around with this, rest in peace. That's why for me, you'll actually see me leave a bunch of loot sometimes. Like even if I need bandages, I won't pick up more than I need, because I want to be able to loot people really fast. It's more of a solo squad thing, however, because solo squad you need time priority. Brawler right here. The way you push in Cell House, it's okay to push like this. I don't think this is a bad idea, but on the contrary, if you were to push through the big ass lanes, I would recommend doing that really fast. Here he's doing it slow, but he's not on the big ass lane, so it's fine. One thing you'll notice as well with this Skulker, he really enjoys using Skulker. Definitely a different playstyle to me, and we'll evaluate that later. This is a issue with that playstyle, because he moves too slow to catch people. Luckily this guy's kind of dumb and went into a place here. Centering wise, always remember, you can move around your screen as you're looting. Preferably, whenever you loot, you wouldn't want to look into an area where an enemy will not chow you. Obviously they can come from behind you, Now, you can't do anything about that, but consider what you could do. Here, he's looking at some bandages. Now, if someone comes from here, maybe he'll kill them. Maybe. But it's still a rest in peace. And you would have to do a slide out to... You can't slide out to the left. Sorry, to the left, because you'll hit the thing here. You can do a slide to the right, though. So, always consider where you're actually positioning your screen. And also position yourself whenever you're looting bags. If you see me, usually, I do this... just because I'm just built like that. My brain already does this naturally. You want to position yourself in a place where you can quickly slide cancel out of the bag, because you can't close this. It's not part. There's no bind to close your thing when you're looting. So if you stand, for example, if I was Bearpig and I stood right here, there isn't really particularly a good place to like slide, unless you're gonna slide forward, which isn't particularly amazing if there is a kid there. So I don't really like where he's standing. I would, if it was down to me, I'll do this bag sideways on, and then I would be looking forward either there or possibly there, one of those two, because then if someone did actually come, well, first of all, it's long range, fine. If someone came here, slide out to the right, I got a lot of space. If you have it here, if you slide here, you get screwed over because of the wall, and if you slide here, the angle is a bit shit.
Job done.
That's lovely.
Perfect. So we have a beautiful...
That's my dad. Anyway.
It always breaks in the worst times possible, I swear.
Here, he picked up a mobility. Pop this shit straight away, by the way, in my opinion. Never leave this shit. Why you should pop this straight away is you can move while you're popping shit. This guy's a bit slow on guard. You'll see Bearpig employ a very weird stealthy playstyle, which I don't think I've ever particularly done. Obviously, because I play solo squad and it's counterintuitive. It works, I guess. I think if you tried to do this something like this nowadays, you would get screwed over because you don't get the initiative advantage. So here is low pressure, and also even when the pressure is applied to him, these guys are bots, so they don't shoot back. They're Maddoxing ready, so it's fine to deal with this. The reason that's a problem is when you play Skulker, you actually decrease your speed. Officially, yes and no. And what that means is trying to push somebody,
These guys are literally feeding me.
You're more expectable. You know, your timing is more predictable. You do get the bonus where you're hard to hit, obviously, and no one can hear you, which is the reason you would use this.
I forgot, we do need to try challenges.
But if it was me right now, I'd be popping that mobility, sliding around everywhere, using the ledge slides boosts to make sure I'm moving as fast as possible. It's counterintuitive, and a lot of people don't understand how this works. You can outrun a lot of the issues that happen in Blackout Alcatraz. Now you have to be really good, but if you move so fast, you actually, it's actually really weird, and I don't actually know particularly why this works because it's counterintuitive. You move so fast, supply doesn't affect you because it comes in so fast, it comes in faster than it leaves.
I'll give it a go.
And also you have more safety, which doesn't make sense to people, but the reason you have more safety is because your position continues to change. And so you get a initiative bonus, basically.
I know, it's like progressively worse. I don't really understand why.
If this was me right now, I would be sprinting to save time. Deadass.
I mean,
time is of the essence. He's lucky because people actually redeploy here.
Every time your teammates spawn in or die, it'll happen.
That's an interesting pick. If it was me, oh, actually the correct option here. Titan. Instead of you drop the Spitfire for the Titan, and then you triangle the Titan on the Spitfire. This site, not sure why he particularly likes it. It ain't bad. It is really personal preference. If you use the Titan though, you fully get your shit done. You get your shit ready.
It'll happen.
Again, we got the problems of him not dropping the perks, rest in peace. Also the trauma kit play. Really depends what you prefer. I prefer keeping them, because the trauma kit has two benefits, which is extra health plus the range of health. The range of health being 1 health to 200 and straight away. I like the range of health bonus more than the buffness bonus. That's why I keep them. And also for solo squad it's much nicer.
Duke of Xbox, what is up, dude? I was waiting for you.
Keep in mind, whenever you play the game, always listen out to not just footsteps, but gun audio. There is a guy here with a ray gun. Nowadays, if they're a bot, they're ass. But if it's me, you're getting your ass beat down. Don't ever chow my ray gun like that. So obviously, he's gonna chow that, but be careful. Obviously, he has a reinforce, so he's gonna be fine. Even if he gets direct impacted and a trauma, he won't die insta. But keep in mind what weapons people actually use. You can also do this with kill feeds. I do this sometimes as well. If it's late game, always pay attention to the kill feed. You can tell what people actually have. You don't have to only rely on footstep audio. As you can see, this guy's ass. There's always going to be someone there, obviously. It's good. Again, here I would push this shit straight away. When you have a situation, the reason you wouldn't want to play so slow, it might seem like you're playing safer, but it's actually the same as if you played fast. The only difference is you lose time. Now, in some cases, it's okay. There's a lot of things that can happen wrong. First of all, guy can come from here, guy can come from here, guy can come from here. Some guy can chow you in the back. People are going to redeploy in 8 seconds. Some guy might be on the back end. To move fast guarantees that weird shit doesn't happen.
I have a ray gun, I'm unstoppable.
Also be careful here when you count, when you're ever outside, like coming outside, check the time. If it's 10, people will redeploy on you, especially if there's like people around you. And as I said, like there could have been a guy there because this guy ended up there. Obviously it's the same guy, but it's a common prediction. You will find patterns around the game a lot. If you wanted to farm Cell House, it's quite a difficult one. It's very random, to be honest with you. This was a very, very random game. He got lucky, actually, with the amount of people that are remaining in the game. You don't have to worry too much about if you want to go for 30s, so most people go for 30s. If you want to go for 30s, you don't have to worry about this number too much. It's more so this number, which is the time, and this side. But for stretching, he got quite lucky with the 39 people remaining, so it makes this farm a bit nicer. If people come back, it's actually quite nice. The one thing I would have probably done differently, which would have either possibly been worse, I would have pushed out straight away. I'd have gone Wardens and tried to beat people up there. He got quite reasonably lucky with the supply he got. The issue is he doesn't have enough to last the whole game, at least from what I remember, if I'm not wrong. So Brawler will obviously run out, and same with the mobility. He got very nice zone as well. If you have a zone that cuts halfway into a location, it makes it better to farm. Now, some people might not understand why. They might think it's actually worse because the location becomes smaller. That's precisely the point. It's more predictable. Movement wise, you could have a lot more to improve. I don't think I've seen a single slide cancel here or a single camera. Again, this is primitive blackout. This was before my era, so it's forgivable. Nowadays, times have changed. Keep in mind, second gun's not reloaded. In some cases, if you have a mag that's not full on a gun, change that one out first, just in case. Because if this, by some miracle, doesn't have bullets, for some reason, might be a rest in peace. Obviously, as a brawler, so if someone chows in from here, it's fine, usually. And this is what I said. Exactly what I said. This is why you drop your fucking perks, man. And what is this? Look, perfect timing, right? He can't pick up the brawler. He has to reload, as I said, which is rest in peace. And he didn't drop his shit. So now, I identified 3 problems, and they all came back to bite him in the ass. But it's fine, because this guy's gonna get beat down by the brawler, probably. No, he's just gonna get sparrowed. He had to waste a bit more on him than necessary, but he got it done anyway. Oh, and then another kid came. Yeah, so this situation basically was a cumulative of problems that I identified previously. That then went and bit him in the ass, basically. Not a bad play, in my opinion. Sometimes this can go wrong, so what can sometimes happen if you grapple incorrectly. He did it very well. I don't know if I'll do it too well, because I do it risky. To not do it risky, you jump backwards as he did and you grapple out, because this increases your distance from the wall, which means you can grapple more safer here. I actually don't do that. I stay in the middle here and then I grapple forward and then it bungee jumps me. So he didn't bungee jump, he like just climbed on that shit. Well, actually sort of it was a shit bungee jump though. Bungee jump is like where you fling off of a ledge here with a grapple and then momentum puts you up. Because it's really safe to do that, especially on mobility, and you can shoot people as you're doing that. Double shot, not necessary, but I think there was 2 people there. Yeah, there was. keep in mind whenever you have a sparrow in cell house, very bad idea to use it on people who aren't on your level. If they're above you on these catwalks, I would never recommend using a sparrow. This is the perfect sparrow protection for anything. It will basically be a hit marker machine because of these little grates, or I don't know what they're really called, railings, yeah, because the sparrow will stick onto them instead of the enemy, so they basically get cover without getting cover. 50 bomb is looking like, ooh, look at this sexy beast. Now, if you look at the timing, this is actually 50. He had a close to 50 bomb timing later on, but not yet. Again, not dropping the perks, rest in peace. That's fine. Here's what you shouldn't be doing this here. If this guy chowed back and you shot this in here, chances this hits here, hit markers him and he melts you if he's good. And also he's like in the middle of nowhere with no cover. So be careful with whatever guns you're using on this shit, because it might be rest in peace.
Dude, these zombies are so annoying. I can't believe there's still some alive.
With zombies, they're a benefit and a negative. If you wanted to, so it doesn't actually particularly matter if it's annoying or not, because obviously they can be annoying for other people. You can use zombies to tell where people are, because you can see if the zombie's attracted to them. So that's what I do in some of my games. At this point, there could be a possibility of making a move out into Wardens and then down into Parade. If you stay in the same place long enough, usually people don't come back. Now it's dependent really, Blackout and Alcatraz has a lot to do with luck. So this early you might not have to, it depends if you can hear them. If this was my game though, I don't think people would come back. They would fear my Zim. They wouldn't chow me like that. High ground, if you ever do have a problem with finding people, I don't think he does particularly, we don't have enough information. High ground is where you go. First of all, if you go high ground, you can see people redeploying and you're not inside. Second of all, better position. And third of all, especially in cell house, high ground is open, which means you can get from one side to the other pretty fast. If you do it in cell house, you have to climb from catwalks to catwalks, jumping over shit, it's retarded. Here, whenever you use sparrows, there's a few tips you need to know. This is another tip. If you use a sparrow, make sure there's a wall or a floor that you're looking down upon on the enemy you're shooting. Because if there isn't, like in this case, and the enemy is very far, what will happen is the guy will move 1 inch and you will miss your sparrow. Like this. And even if it does hit somewhere, it'll hit further back than if it was a wall. So it will just hit marker, and that's what happened to this kid. And then someone else took him, rest in peace. You can do a taste of a lobby and how the mood is thinking. So with this taste, I think he's aware of this, and if I was playing this lobby, I'd be aware as well. There hasn't been a guy in Cell House who shot back for the last 5 years. And there hasn't been a guy in Cell House since like the 8th kill who had actual loot. If you want to do an ego chow like this, very fine. This would be a risky play, like jumping down straight up like this. Because again, even though the zone is cutting this off, it actually doesn't cut off the back end, so you can get screwed over from there. Because of the mood of the lobby, you can decide for yourself how risky you can play. Obviously there's a leverage of bullshit that will always happen. As long as you understand all the possibilities, which is what I do. So a lot of people come to me and they're like, how the hell do you not get annoyed at some of the ways you die? Because I can see them before they happen, basically. So if you understand what can happen when you jump down, for example, yeah, a guy might shoot me from the back, might chow this guy, he might have a tomahawk, rest in peace, whatever, then it's fine. At this point, he's actually wiped. A good idea, well, first of all, repair armor, always take care of this. Good idea now, I would say. So he's actually upper 40 timing, so like 48, 9, 50 timing. Good idea. Get the hell out of here, to be quite honest with you. I'm not sure, I never paid attention to the sounds down here. This zone is pretty okay. It's not like that great or amazing, but it's decent enough. Where you can get more farms here, and in Ruins, and in Parade. It would be a good idea to check that out now, before you lose your perks. The reason you want to do it before you lose your perks, people might not understand this either. You've farmed one place for ages, for what, 5, 6, 7 minutes. Nobody here has loot. And if there was loot, it's already been used and eaten. you haven't been anywhere else, there might be some people with full loot. It would be much better off if you chowed them with at least some supply initially, so you can kill them, cut their supply off, and then even the playing field when they come back. If you come in there too late and you don't have your good supply, rest in peace. So it's not particularly, again, some people don't have this mentality built into them, but it's a calculated, brave decision. On paper it sounds stupid, because obviously you could stay here and get more kills, but for consistency and long-term potential, you gotta understand the problems that might arise in the future. Obviously he's staying here, which is completely fine. You would have to move eventually though. He has a bit of supply left, and I think that's actually his second brawler actually. Bad idea, very bad idea. The reason this is a bad idea, first of all, where is he gonna shoot him at? Either he's gonna go this way, can't shoot him, or he's gonna go forward, shit place to shoot a sparrow at, basically, or he's gonna climb up like he did and the shit's gonna save him, which is what happened. See, MP40 here 100%. I believe he goes up from here.
I don't know about the record, but
yeah, his shit is slowing down right now because he wiped one team, so actually screwed his potential. Yeah, that's what he said. I would have moved out a bit earlier, because what I would have done was, if you move out earlier, you'll have enough time to sort out wardens and parade. I just like if you do it fast enough. If you move out now, you might only be able to sort out one of the two. And again, as I predicted, there's people at wardens. The way you can tell where people are gonna be, obviously, it's, I don't know if people really do this, but for me it's quite easy. Check where the zone is, first of all, where it cuts into, and understand where the locations outside of zone are. Where would people who landed there come in from? So obviously if it's docks and power, they would be looping around here. No one came through cell house. If it's parade, might end up funneling some people in here. Obviously, since this is cut, most likely people are gonna be here because there's no space behind it. Now if you have a location in like somewhere that has space out of it, like behind it, might be a bit more difficult because it's not as condensed. People can be behind it and shit all around that. Here I would push this way earlier. I'll be sliding off of this, pushing this before my shit runs out. This is a bad misplay in my opinion. What he does here is he trades out his sparrow for a rampart. Not particularly that it's not a you don't want a rampart, because it could be anything in this bag. It's the fact that this guy, number one, you already understand, you've been here for 10 million years. This guy's not gonna have perks, number one. Number two, the guns he will have, most likely ass, which he had an okay rampart. And number three, when you take a look at where you're gonna be going to, the only time you would need the rampart is if you're here, and that would be a very dumb idea if you go on this side. Usually you would loop this way, and that'll be MP40 brawler. Anywhere you go here, it'll be fine, MP40 brawler. If you pick up a rampart, you're wasting your last seconds of mobility for this thing. That's what you're trading off. You always make sure you understand what you're trading your time for. This rampart actually was useless. It never came in. And another thing you want to understand, if you're going to eventually end up in a situation like this, and you have 20, 30, 50, whatever amount of kills you have, you will find another gun later on. You don't have to get it here. Loot whenever it's most beneficial to you. I think here, bad idea to loot. Also, this, I don't think it's a good idea to grapple. Ledge slide off of this, get a boost. Grapples, the issue with them is you can't shoot and aim as you grapple. Ledge slide, you're completely fine, and you actually go faster. The thing about grapples is you go further, but I don't think they're really that needed. This also a bad play. This actually cuts off the angle he needs to kill the guy below him. So this angle gives him good position on this house, which he can't kill anyone from because it's windows, it's head glitches. So even if someone peeks him, they'll just peek out again, peek back. So he's gonna waste like 2 seconds here. Obviously it's reasonably safe, like no one's gonna chow him. But if it was me, I would be pushing this kid like straight away because there's not much time left in this lobby. You need to maximize as much as possible. Contextually though, the difference between me and him in this position, if I were to have this game, I would have to max because my most would be 48. And even if it was Jacob a long time ago, it would still be 47. And even Jacob before that would be 46. So for a whole years of time, The only option for me would be to fast max out everything. However, there is a period of time from the 28th of June when I had a 43 and maybe the September 10th when I had a 44. So quite a short amount of time where this strategy would be okay because it would be reasonable to try to guarantee like a 45 at minimum, which is I guess what he was going for. For him, he needs a 42, so he needs to get basically only how much? 6 kills basically, right? Or 7, which is perfectly fine because there's 13 in here, so he only needs half, 50%. Nowadays, if I'm in endgames, I'm trying to aim for something like 75%, maximizing everything. The way you would do that, and one of the reasons you need to do that. With this, there's actually 2 teams here, from what I'm aware. If you don't sort this out fast enough, some weird shit might happen and one of them might die. I think that's what happened, yeah. Someone did actually die. That's why I want to push this as fast as possible. The thing that he does here, which is interesting, which I might try and consider doing something else, endgame, especially in here where you don't know where people are because they're in rooms and shit, to lure people out, you can leave their teammates alive. Now this guy's ass anyway, you can see by the default skin or whatever. So even if he gets revived, like who cares, whatever. It would be possibly nice to not have to brawler him, because also that's safety. This door, there's no door here, someone can shoot him in the back. Leave him alive, he can start crawling around everywhere. Maybe he'll crawl to his teammate, or his teammate will come to him. Or, even third option, enemy will kill him for you, and then you can hear them with the shots. So, to be quite fair with you, you can leave them alive and it'll be quite fine. Here is better to punch because obviously you're here. The way he uses grapples, in my opinion, are very wasteful, at least in my personal interpretation. Nade out. I wouldn't personally have this out, in my opinion. Always grapples movement. There's a guy looting and it's probably above him in this one room. If you're ever in this position, you could make a move as well, which is okay. What he's done is he's checked bottom, top, and basically everything in this warden house. He knows this is out. There's only one kid here, and most likely he's not on the same. He's not with anyone else. So if he leaves right now, this guy wouldn't die. And so if he did that, he could have actually gone here earlier and then shouted someone on this side. Because even if this guy didn't jump down, or this other kid, whatever, because they're the same team, I'm pretty sure they are. Even if he left earlier, they would still be alive. You can get them later. You don't have to go focus on one kid 24/7. If he's annoying you, no problem. You can tell by the body that he's here. I don't actually pick up equipment that much, but it is useful like late game. You can see by his excitement there that he was most likely trying to maximize 240 at minimum. So that's probably why he was playing a bit slower. With me, oh, you know me, how I choke my 40s. I choke it from the gayest shit. At this point, I do not care. It's like eventually you will come to a certain point where you will devalue your gameplays to such a high extent that it will simply not matter if you choke them or get them. So for me, I have like 55 40s. Now some people try and tell me I have 56, but one of them, there's 3 kills in there. I don't count 3 kills, so. But yeah, so if it was me in my position, it'll be okay if you push. So being able to play faster, it kind of comes with time. The more you play, the more you're able to do so. Because the less of a shit you give if you choke. Here's the thing that is a good explanation of how this worked. He cleared Cell House so hard, there was only one team remaining here. And if you leave one team remaining, usually they'll camp inside the buildings or whatever, and then only when the zone pushes them out, you'll have availability to just annihilate them. Because of how the flow works as well, no one's gonna come here because it's open, and he was there anyway. This team will never die. Ever. Unless by some miracle he dies and some other people push in here. This team will always be available for him to kill. There is certain people you can identify that need to be killed at this moment, and some people which you can leave for later. These people, he didn't even know they existed. I didn't know they existed. There was no clues. But this is a good explanation to show why you wouldn't particularly need to push everything at one given time, and how you can pick what you need to push. He's getting shot in the back. I wouldn't worry about this. He's actually getting shot from back here, which is really far away. This grapple's okay because it will cut that off a bit. And also this guy's getting... These guys are ass. Like, they're getting confused. Here's what I was talking about, the rampart. Either way, he never used it. First of all, he burnt a bit of his mobility. You know, give or take. Maybe it was a good idea, maybe not. But either way, he would have ended up with a better gun here. Because endgame, whatever loot is available on the map will get funneled. This is an unfortunate thing. It is what it is. This is a strife, so you wouldn't have to worry too much. This is why you would want grapples out as well. So you could do a few different options here. This guy is there. You would never see him because it's too fast. But you can tell the direction from this side. For me, heal first. There's the amount of bandages he has. Rest in peace. I would never recommend having this many. Endgame is fine. First of all, try get armor if you can. If it's on the floor, try get it. If there's cover by you, go to the nearest cover. Here, he missed up on the armor. So the best thing you could really do, heal. You can't shoot back. You don't have enough ammo, first of all. This guy's too far. If an enemy's close to you, definitely shoot back. Do not try and run away. If they're here, whip out your MP40 and beat their ass down, forever challenge you in the ass. Use your Zim Apex, start skating on them and shit. So you slide cancel either right or left. It has to be full 180 degree slide though. It has to be 90 degrees. And then you're fine. Here, he's going to be curving and swerving, popping heals. This is fine. One thing he does wrong, actually. You don't need to put this grapple out. So if you know the map well enough, you will actually be safe here. You can pop a red and then just chill here and you'll be safe. That kid, he has a strife, and you can elbow him as well on the little rocks. So you can use the rocks to just elbow him, and you'll be fine. He said he's gonna die, but like he wouldn't, because you know his Zim is ready. His Maddox is okay. Going here is unnecessary because you actually expose yourself more. And also there might be that kid that was shitting him earlier back here. So you have to be careful about that. Also that jump, very dumb idea. One second. Even if you did play this, you wouldn't want to jump because it slows you down. Dude, you would want to keep especially that early. If you wanted to jump, do it late. This was a different time period though, like these guys, they didn't know how to shoot back. Again, he never used these perks and he never dropped them. Not particularly sure why, but it is what it is. Over here, I wouldn't recommend sitting in a corner. Too many weird things can happen. As you're healing, you can at least look around. So he looked around a bit, but the most you could see is rocks. What you can do, obviously he needs 1 kill for his record, so he's being stressed. I don't know if you can tell from now. You can't tell from here. He peeked out here. You peek this more, by the way, because here you're probably okay because the zone cuts off most of the angles. Peek this, check if there's anyone there. If there isn't, you're free to go out here by 1 inch. Peek right first. Nobody there. Fine. Quickly go on this head glitch. That's your main objective. Or you just need to do the other side objectives to get on that. The reason you want to go here, in case this kid chows you. This guy has no armor as a strife, which means he does not have footsteps, especially on grass. Because what people don't understand is your default footstep sound on Blackout is actually really low. It's like half dead silence. Only when you pick up armor do you really get to hear the footsteps. So this guy could be pushing him right now, or like crouch walking or challenging him or whatever. There's actually a bunch of other people here as well. He has no information in this little place, and he's healing. This position, quite shit. Also, what he does next is quite retarded, but we'll go to that next. So he pushes up, which is fine. High ground's okay. At least you can check this. But he doesn't peek it. Like, he looks at it and it instantly chows. The amount of things that can go wrong with this maneuver, insane amount of things. First of all, there's 2 people he hasn't accounted for in this lobby. Might have full loot, might beam him from the back. Second of all, why you can simply quickly swipe to the right. There could be a guy coming from this tree. There could be a guy on the right coming in. There could be a guy even in ruins, which is what my main threat was when I wanted him to peek this. And even back here, there could be someone like literally right on him. And he's made so much noise that everyone knows where he is. So, challing like open challing like this? Ooh, interesting idea. It worked by some miracle. And also climbing like this, rest in peace. The way he grappled on this, it's a climb. Though if you wanted to do this properly, in my opinion, you either grapple on the floor and use the momentum to boost you forward. So you grapple here, and that will boost you up. The reason that would work better is because you land, like, you're not stuck everywhere. If you're stuck in the animation less. It's sort of the same at the end, but at least you get boosted. Or you grapple on the edge. You grapple to the middle. First of all, you can't see anything on here. You're looking into a rock. And then even if you're not looking into the rock, you're looking into a zone. Rest in peace. Guy could come from here. Guy could come from there. There was a guy here, so he should come, but he didn't. And you're in this animation for ages, so it's a rest in peace. 10 million. I think most people who watch me would probably understand why this was a shit play. Also back here, very dumb idea. Insanely dumb. I don't know what the thought process here was. I think he wanted to max out on kills, so we wanted to deal with this kid first. Problem with dealing with this kid first is you kind of create too many problems for yourself in the long term. Now these guys are ass at the other people. If they were good, they would sit on ruins right now. There's a head glitch, a dirty head glitch that goes straight onto his position right now, and he has no cover. So obviously the guy could beam him from here, like straight up, like nothing, bro. That's max settings. So he could get beamed from here. He could even get beamed from there. He could get double chowed from basically anywhere in the map. And his position, he has 2 seconds, maybe 3, remaining on this rock. After that, no armor. The best he can do is grapple. If it was me, you would have to fight. Basically, you would slide off of this and try and beam them. But if it's a 2v1, rest in peace. So a lot of things could go wrong here. Luckily, they didn't. He'll make a mistake here as well. He does at least peek before he goes down, so he doesn't get shot in the back. It was a fast peek, but it was enough. Check the important shit. Well, if you can, I'm hoping you guys can see the mistake here. I don't really analyze plays as mistakes. Like if you make a play, whatever, but the thing that comes after, that you can do this much better. So if you want to push this kid, no problem, that's fine. That was the whole point of going here, to kill this kid. You have to challenge him eventually. What you do is, one thing you can do, the first thing, not really a mistake, but it's interpretation. Slide off of this, ledge slide, gets you more forward momentum. So this guy, like, you don't land in front of him slowly. Your body is moving further away from him, and you're also going at a faster speed if you slide off of this shit, sort of. Jumping is fine, it works, because this ledge is shit. Like, I don't think you can even slide off that, but it's something you could attempt. The main important mistake he did, when you take full damage, you want to do one of 2 things, and he did none. You would either want to go for speed or go for safety. And those could actually go side and side. Speed can be safety sometimes. And safety, what I mean is damage negation. What you do is you either go and take full damage, then instantly slide. It will give you a really fast slide. Your slide will actually be boosted if you just took full damage. So it's not a default slide, it's basically like a mobility slide, and it will boost you wherever you want to go. So it's also to do with safety basically, but it's speed. So it gives you a speedier slide. If you don't do anything, you actually get a slowdown effect. That's the only movement you can do whenever you take full damage that will not be negated. It will not actually have a penalty, it would have a buff. So you want to slide right after you take full damage, or you slide right before you take full damage, and that will make you take less full damage. Here he did neither, so he took maximum full damage and then had the shittest speed. So he had 2 debuffs. This guy's getting beat down anyway, because I mean, he had no armor, and he has a fury, so it's okay. Again, shit position. I don't know what these guys are doing, these other kids, but this is just a shit place to be in. One thing I would possibly suggest, grapple back here. Don't try and grapple here, because if you grapple there, what might happen is some guy inside might shoot you. So if you grapple side, will get you here faster. Also, this you can't climb, so you don't want to jump before, unless you go from the right side, I think. You want to get up to it and then jump. At least he saw that guy now.
45, but his teammate killed himself with a nade.
That's a pretty just decent ending, to be quite honest with you. Like, not really much to say about that last kill. So yeah, overall everything's pretty good. One thing I would have to suggest, which my fans might notice, which I never noticed with my gameplays. This is quite an interesting thing to highlight. Whenever you have a brawler and a skulker, you could choose not to shoot an enemy, and that's what he actually does sometimes. He takes longer to brawler someone. There is benefits and negatives to this. Personally, I wouldn't do this. This guy stopped which is weird. If first of all, people sometimes they don't stop, so obviously you can't do this. There can be a lot of things that go wrong. For example, the guy runs away, you miss him or something, you miss your chance to brawler, you might get shot in the back, and then you get double chowed, so you miss the opportunity to get a the first kill. But the buffs to it, which I would explain, in certain situations like this, you don't have audio, like no one can hear this. So if there's 2 teams and you only brawler, you get the stealth benefit, which he seems to love because he's like rolling around on his knees like a snake this whole entire game. So he likes the stealth benefit. So the stealth benefit is obviously you don't shoot your gun so no one hears this. Think about this though. If there's only one team, won't matter. Because obviously the teammates are going to see their teammate die. Like they're going to see the revive icon and it's just going to be there like, oh, please revive me. So they're going to know their teammate died in this general region. That's where the enemy is, obviously. So information-wise, it can deprive the enemies of information, but it's very situational. I would never recommend this to do this consistently. But now that I kind of thought about this, I might try this sometimes in some of my gameplays. In my opinion, the speed. I'd say speed is king for me, at least in my playstyle. What other people, who knows. But that's basically it for the gameplay. Nice 44. This would have been 3rd best in the world. Possibly. It would be tied with something, but it would have been 3rd best in the world at some point in the human histories. Nowadays, it's kind of gone further down a bit. It's probably like top 8, I think, maybe top 10, to be quite honest with you. With the gameplays that are available. Top 3 is now me, basically. Yeah, whatever interpretation you have is me, and that's basically it.
But his teammate,
because either I'm 2nd or 3rd, depends how you count it. If you count ties as 1 or if you count it as a 2. Anyway, so yeah.
himself with a frag at the end.
Unfortunately, yeah. Oh, that's not. Oh. So yeah, sometimes you get people who will frag themselves. It is what it is. That's why personally, with me, I'ma just go as fast as possible so this bullshit doesn't happen. If you go fast enough, usually people won't frag themselves because you'll just beat their ass down eventually anyway. At this point, there ain't really too much to say about this. If you did learn something new, or if I did tickle your brain power a bit, I made you improve your gaming IQ, your Zim Apex grinder IQ somewhere, then make sure you tell me, because I don't do this for myself, do I? I do this for the glory of Black Ops 4. If you did enjoy this gameplay, I mean, just watch it if you like, or just watch other Bearpig gameplays, because somehow, by some miracle, he is still, like you can see with my history of Alcatraz videos, he is still the 3rd best in the world for gameplays. He still has the 3rd most in the world. So there's a ton of stock that was uploaded by him that might be lost within the sands of time. However, it's still available. It gives you an insight on a time of Alcatraz that I was never in because I was an account grinder. So it might be something interesting to watch. Indulge yourself within the past. But other than that, I don't really think I have much to say. If you want me to analyze some other guys' gameplay, tell me. I don't think there's any of my own that I'll be analyzing anytime soon because all the records have actually elapsed, the anniversaries. So other than that, I think that's about it. I ain't gonna lie. I'll see you in the next one.